Portal podcast for Kamen Rider Build. I am Vashi V, and I am joined with...
Decade.
Rye.
And Zero.
Okay. So I don't exactly have notes this time, but we can still do this. So we open up, continuing off of what we were discussing last week, which was, is Soichi, the owner of the cafe, a member of Faust? Yes. Or rather, he was. Because his daughter Mizora can purify bottles, Faust kidnapped her to do that. And then Soichi joined them so that he could get his daughter out, and took one of the panels with him when he left, as well as some of the bottles. So that kind of answers the question of, how did Build get his first bottles? They were already there. They already existed. It makes sense. We also finally get the answer of who was the astronaut that opened up Pandora's box. It was Soichi. He claims to have been possessed during that moment. Honestly, I didn't think we were going to get an answer to that so soon. I thought it was going to be like some kind of shocker reveal halfway through the series. Nope, it was this guy.
Yeah, that's pretty damn interesting. So, yeah, one thing I noticed is that I guess, I mean, it starts off with him like deflecting and talking about coffee recipes or whatever to compete with his part-time job. So I guess the cafe's either not very popular or it's like closed by the time the episode starts, so no one's there. I guess, I mean, good job for giving some sort of reasoning, kind of. But yeah, that was great how they pretty much trolled the people who watched the previews with just the soundbite of Soichi saying, "I'm Faust," before saying, just kidding.
On the subject of his unpopular cafe, we never see any customers.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was fun. And it's also nice that he's gonna have, well, I mean, he has a pretty important role in the story. He's not just like a prop, unlike some adult characters we've been getting in recent series. So yeah, that was nice.
You got anything else, Rye?
On this opening scene, I think I've said my fill. Go on.
Like, I did like this opening scene. I mean, it wasn't what I was expecting in terms of finding out, who, that, oh, this is the guy who opened it. Here's somewhat of an explanation of what happened, because I'm sure there'll be more added to that the further we go into it. But yeah, it was a nice explanation for why that there's never anybody in the cafe at all. So yeah, just a nice little opening. It did give a little insight into the show that I wasn't expecting to get just yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that we're getting this reveal so soon, but man, like, yeah, I'm kind of actually a little let down because that preview, it's such interesting, like, setup, and then it's like, nah, I just joined Faust, like, to get, like, okay, to free his daughter, that's a good enough reason, but the thing is, like, he has powers too, so I think he's lying. I mean, like, he could have been possessed. But like, just to be like, oh, I'm some random lackey from Faust and like I got away with it all, like, seems a little too simple, so I think he's still lying. But like, at least we got an answer. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it this soon though.
So, moving on from that, Sawa rushes in with exciting news. she found someone that knows Sento from his past, before he had amnesia. Apparently, he used to be in a band, and his real name is something that I didn't really care about. Whatever. The guy. God, sorry, I don't know his name, so I'm just gonna look for it real quick here.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, like, I know you're talking about like his bandmate.
Yeah.
Right. What about him?
He's very goofy. Like his front teeth are all messed up and sticking out of his mouth. Like he dresses like a wannabe punk rocker. He like just the moment I saw him, like I was just immediately on the boat of this is a setup. Like this guy doesn't know him. This has got to be a setup.
That's what I thought too. Like when he runs in like with the Aniki thing, I'm like, this is like 99%.
This is fake.
Yeah, I know, right? After like Blade and Kabuto and like all this other stuff with this happening, like
Agito
it seems. Oh god,
with the fake girlfriend. But then the pictures of him
Agito
on the wall
is like the one time it's actually really interesting. But yeah, go ahead.
But then we have the like pictures of him on the wall and stuff, and everything about this episode makes it out to be real. What the?
Yeah, I think it's real. It's just we've watched too much Tokusatsu. I think that's what's happening. Go ahead.
What do you guys think?
I mean, I as fun as it is, I'm just like, how the hell do you go from punk rock dude living in squalor to a freaking genius physicist? Was this like, did the experimentation affect his brain too? Like, what the hell?
I mean, they said he did get like a drug testing, so it's probably just to increase in his intelligence, but like, okay, then how did he learn physics? Because like he literally disappeared and then was found by the owner the same day, right? Like, how does that work? I mean, the next week's preview says something like "give me back my real body" or something, so like, I don't know what the hell's going on there. Maybe he fused with another person. It's weird. Vashi, yeah.
Like that entire thing was weird. Is like whatever hell experiment got done to him to do this happened really freaking quick. Because it's like it's not just physics; it's fucking theoretical physics. String theory and that type of shit that is in his head for him to be able to do half of this stuff. That's a big ass jump going from, like I said, from punk rocker to physicist. It's an insane leap. It's obviously one hell of an experiment that got done on him in the course of a couple of hours.
I mean, the only thing I can say is like, maybe it's kind of like a Nito from Wizard type of thing. Like he looks like this just punk, but is actually really smart. It's just he'd rather do all the other fun stuff instead of doing the studying. So like maybe he was smart, but like he was like a college student and then he dropped out or something. Like that is the only way. But the way this show's been doing, I think it's just gonna be like another plot hole.
I've got a feeling that if it's not that situation, it's he got experimented on with Pandora's box, and that's what did it. The same way it turned everybody else into Smash, it just made him really fucking smart and made him be able to transform.
That begs the question, though: why did they do something different with him?
With that, it could have been just something that they were trying to add, like, because we know that Night Rogue and Bloodstark are the two behind all this, at least as far as we can tell right now. that it could have just been something that they just wanted another member. Like them, they got it with Build, it worked. So they just decided to focus on creating Smash, and then it turns out, oh, well, Build's just going to be a good guy. I mean,
Yeah.
it could be one of them situations, like kind of the way that Shocker fell off from making Kamen Riders after every one of them, kind of went, no, I'm going to kick your asses instead.
I mean, technically that's not what happened, but what happened is like they built one, and then his professor helped him escape, and then they built another one to take him down, and then like V3 is built by Rider 1 and 2, and then Rider Man is like not even a rider, he's like a scientist with a bionic arm, and like X is made by his dad to save his life. Yeah, Amazon is like a magic bracelet. So like they are different, but like yeah, I mean the weird thing is like the Showa writers, you could just say, oh, they were built by Shocker, but the thing is like they all actually have different origins, because like it goes to Amazon, right? And then like I don't know what Skyrider is.
Skyrider was attempted reboot.
Yes, I mean I know that. Like I don't know how he was created, but like Super 1 was like he's like a new style of like cyber astronaut. So like he's not built by the bad guys. Like the bad guys tried to steal that tech. But like he was, yeah. And then like
my reference. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then like Black and RX. I mean like RX is just Black anyway. So like only Rider 1 and 2 and Black and Z Cross were built by the bad guys. Yeah. I mean the 90, I mean like Shin if you want, so that's 3, but like the other two 90s riders weren't built by the bad guys.
Well, I was referring more to Ichigo and Neo. With the Shocker created them, they turned around and started kicking her ass. Yeah, we're gonna stop making you guys. It could have been something as simple as that. Is they were focused on making riders, then something went wonky with Build, so they're like, you know what, we're not gonna do that again.
Yeah, but like he didn't become Build till like Sweetie. Okay. Hey, did we get the explanation of why he wanted Build to be Build before or after?
We didn't get the actual explanation of why he Well, all he really said was he wanted him to become Build.
Right, and in this, and like he's just super cool with like, yeah, you lied to me. That's cool. I'm like, hey, at least I'm a good guy now. I'm like, holy shit, man. Like, there's like, this is like a 50-50 split, maybe even less, of like, okay, you pick all the Heisei riders, and like half of them would be okay with that shit, and half of them would be super pissed. So like, I can kind of let it pass, but like, we can go down the list. Like Godai might be like, okay, whatever, save people. Agito
would be on board with a new ally.
Suichi's like, whatever, man. He's too easygoing. Shinji
would be happy that someone isn't evil.
Yeah, Shinji would be happy. Takumi would be super pissed and leave right then and...
Absolutely antagonistic.
You would just leave, man. You would like, fuck this. I'm done. Out of here.
Blade and Hibiki would both be accepting.
I don't know. Here's the thing. Blade would be super pissed, and then like until somebody needed help, and then he'd be like, nah, fuck it. It's for the greater good. And then he'd show up. Because the thing is like, here's the thing. Blade does a lot of awesome writer shit, but like, he's actually really short-tempered, which is kind of hilarious watching Blade. Because at first you're like, oh man, this guy's kind of not the best writer, but like as the show goes on, you see how awesome he is. But I kind of like he's a good mix of like writers. Like he's not gonna take anybody's shit, but he's also a really good guy, so it's interesting. Like Hibiki, I don't know, man. Like
Hibiki was very relaxed, and he was very like accepting people for who they are.
I know, but saying like, yeah, you totally lied to me. I don't know if he would be cool with that. I mean, yeah, he'd probably accept it.
Imagine
Tendo,
you would.
Tendo, not a chance. He would fucking be gone. Because like he doesn't like working with organizations, and you just say I lied to you, like fuck it, he's done.
Not just I lied to you, but I was also a member of Faust.
Yeah, pretty much at that point it's like game
I also
over,
worked
man.
for an organization. Fucking Tendo would have been out of there.
Well, Tendo likes to work on his own anyways.
Yeah, I know.
Deno.
I don't know. I haven't seen Deno.
He would get over it because bad guys becoming good guys is kind of his thing.
Huh, interesting. I mean, like, I can't really sit through that show, but it's a little too slow starting off. But that's interesting. Kiva, here's the interesting. With Kiva's personality, you'd think he'd be like the good guy and like, yeah, cool, I'm gonna save people. But no, he would totally take off. Because he's been brought up with the whole thing of like, don't trust humans, they're not like nice. This world is corrupt and shit.
But he
So
only trusts humans.
No, I know, but
Like once he meets,
look, this is episode 5. Like episode 5 of Kiva. At this point, he's still on the.
once he,
Okay,
as soon as he meets Nago-san, he starts riding his dick.
No, he doesn't. I mean, the thing is like, no, that's because he thinks like, because everybody says like his father is a great man, and then he sees like Nago, and he thinks like, oh, like my dad might have been somebody like this, so he looks up to Nago. But the thing is like, yeah, he sees like the shit humans do, and is like, oh, this world is corrupt. Like I have to go and be separated in my thing. And like, so he would take off until like Kiva the Third is like, hey, people are getting attacked, and then he would just, you know, do his Kiva thing, which is his duty to go out and fight. Because the thing is, Kiva is a legacy hero, which is like a thing in comics. So like, the Flash is a legacy hero because there's like multiple Flashes. It's like a title, and basically that's what Kiva is. He's like second generation like fungi slayer, you know. So like he fights, but that's because that's his bloodline. You know, it's his duty to do that. It's not because he
You're
actually.
getting off topic.
Yeah. I mean, this episode barely has any, but the thing is, like, it's interesting to show like the contrast of characters. Whereas this is like generic good guy, of like, oh, what, you lied to me? Ah, whatever. It's not even a thing. Like his friend lies to him, or like potentially causes him to become the way he is, and he's more pissed at that than he is of like, yeah, I just lied to you for like a year straight, and he just doesn't say anything at all.
So basically, like the last 5 riders.
5 riders? I don't know.
X8 wouldn't have cared because
Well, let's.
we got that he literally starts working with Dan.
Later
With
on,
Kuroto.
though.
He only
But I mean-
works with Dan because he's like, yeah, I'm gonna make you atone for what you did. So it
Yeah,
would just
so
be the same situation here. Like, well, you're atoning for what you did, so I'll work
Right.
with you on that.
Right, but it would be but it would quickly fall to the wayside the way it did with Kuroto. That's how it started out, and then it's like, okay, well, we kind of need him, so yeah, whatever. It's whatever now.
Yeah.
Gaim would have been all for it because you know he's Space Jesus.
Fuck. Okay, you know what? Space Jesus versus Dan is the next movie, basically.
Yes, I know,
Yeah,
which
it's
I can't
great.
wait. Then Drive would have been all for it. Don't
Oh,
believe you don't
no.
care. Just look at Chaser.
No, he won't.
He
Okay.
Chaser. That became like his. Well, I mean, granted,
Okay.
it was Mock's best friend, but
Yeah, okay, you're talking about Prototype. Here's the thing. Like, if you watch Drive, like, Shinosuke is like, what are you guys up to? Like, I don't trust you. You gotta tell me what. Like, in the early episodes, he doesn't trust Belt-san, like, fully.
right, but he still goes.
He calls
he
him
still
out.
goes-
Dude,
he calls him
dude.
out on it, but he still rolls with
Yeah,
it. Though.
I know. And that's when the Belt's not lying to you, helping him out. Like, you straight up, like, yeah, I've been lying to you for a year solid. Like, Shinosuke would have been like, what the fuck? Like, you gotta tell me everything right now. Like,
No.
he might have at the end gone along with it, but like he would have stopped and like, okay, stop, explain everything right now. So the thing is like, I mean, that's interesting. Whereas like Wizard, the whole story of Wizard is like, what, you lied to me like a year? Like, fuck you, dude.
From what I've heard, Haruto is very naive.
Yes, he is.
Naruto's naive.
Yes.
I mean, like, he's not naive, he's just more straightforward. But the thing is, like, once he finds out, like, White Wizard lied to him, he, like, flips his shit. It's only that, like, okay, I'm super mad at you, but, like, there is no solution but what you just said. Therefore, I'm kinda gonna work with you. Like, the only reason he didn't kick White Wizard's ass right then and there was because, like, White Wizard's plan was the only plan they had. Weirdly enough. So, like, he kind of had to grudgingly agree. Like, Nito definitely would not have, man. He would have, like, been like, fuck this shit.
Like, Edgy would have been.
Edgy definitely would not.
He would not have taken that shit standing.
Oh no, he would have quickly went.
What?
Because he would have pulled the same shit that he did with Ankh.
Exactly.
I know. I'm so glad they're back for Heisei Final.
And then, but Gentaro would have been all for it. Gentaro wouldn't have given a shit.
Friends, new friend.
Like, okay, Philip. I mean, Double definitely would not.
Philip's like very casual about a lot of things, but Shotaro would have been pissed.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, I think Philip would be pissed too because this is basically what happened. Like, you made me your, like, fucking justice machine, you know, and you took away my old life. Like, Philip gets pissed later on when he figures out what the fuck actually happened to him. So, like, I think both sides of Double would have been not okay with this shit. And, like, Decade definitely would not have been okay with it.
Decade lives to be antagonistic.
Yeah.
Decade just wants to kill all the riders.
Kill them all, Decade. Peter.
That was so dumb. Okay. Like, you know what's more annoying? When they had, like, the anniversary, like, concert, and they, like, the riders show up when their songs are playing, and Decade shows up and he just starts beating up people, and, like, he beats up Kuga, like, twice, and, like, I'm like, oh, fuck you, man. You could have just had him be, like, a smartass and walk around the stage, but no. You have to, like, fight riders. I'm like, fuck you. Because by this point in rider history, he's better than that. You know?
Yeah, he's got a reputation to live up to as the destroyer of worlds. I mean, he never wanted to be the destroyer in the first place, and he spent his entire series fighting against that, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah, there isn't much in this episode. It's like half a fight. And like half just running around.
Going back to the episode, though, Tatsuya, that's the guy's name, says that Sento disappeared the same day that Soichi found him, which threw up a red flag in my mind. Like, he disappeared that same day. Everything Foss did to him happened that same day, which seemed a little suspicious to me, but as it stands right now, that seems to be the truth. It's very unexpected.
Yeah, I know. Like, that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, it's happening way too fast. Like, that's the problem. Like, every show just there's no time. Like, literally everything you see on screen is what takes place. So, like, oh, I'm putting you in, like, this chamber to turn you into Smash. Like, that's how long it takes, I guess. Like, it's too fast. I wish they would, like, space stuff out. Okay, Decade, did you have anything on this?
Not at the moment.
I covered that bit in that last rambling speech.
Alright. So we get an interesting scene where some of the Faust Guardians start attacking people, and then, like, the government issue ones come up and save them. that was neat. That was good to see the Guardians just generally doing their job of protecting people. But then Bloodstark somehow controls them. Like, he just kind of like looks at them and puts them under some kind of mind control. And they are machines, I remind you. So Sento is forced to become Build and fight, and does a little one-on-one with Bloodstark. And then Bloodstark tells him, like, oh, your hazard level is 3.2. You can do better than that. Wait. Hazard level? Is this Bokenger now?
Yeah, I was thinking, like,
Start
there's
up.
a lot... Yeah, I was thinking there's a lot of bleed-through from, like, every time a show is popular, the next show usually incorporates like a lot of stuff from the previous stuff. So like I'm thinking because X8 was popular, they're including like the level things from there, plus like doubles, like whole color gimmick. So it's a weird thing. Yeah, I know. I don't like the levels. But maybe the reason why he's 3.2 and such a high level is the whole reason why he's unique. Is because maybe people needed to be like compatible with the surgery, and he was high enough, so he got it. That's all I can get.
Yeah, I was just gonna say one thing real quick. So yeah, that whole scene with the Guardians and the Faust bots is kind of neat. It is kind of curious as to did Bloodstark mind control the government bots, or did he already set up the government bots to kill the Faust bots just because?
I don't think so.
Just to manipulate, I guess. I don't know.
I think so. Why would the Faust bots be attacking those cool random workers?
So I've missed the last couple of podcasts. I have a theory about who Nightrogue or Bloodstark are. I think one of them is the asshole that fucking Build reports to at the Institute.
We brought this up as a possibility.
Yeah,
I mean, it would make sense as to why he can control why he can take the Guardian bots and turn them into murder bots.
Oh, he's not that one. So that's the weird thing. Like, it would make sense if he was Bloodstark, but he's not Bloodstark. Because when Bloodstark attacks for the first time, you see he's, like, in a cab or something. So, like, he's definitely not that. Like, he could be Nightrogue, but he's not Bloodstark.
But if he's not Rogue, then he could have easily given that, I guess, override code to Bloodstark.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too. It's like, they probably just hacked it instead of, like, mind control, because they are. I think what happened... they sent their guys, and then when the government sent theirs, like, Faust just hacked theirs, because they said, like, Faust has already infiltrated, like, all the governments, so, like, you can't rely on, like, giving it back to the Institute for security, because Faust can just take it again. You know? But, yeah. Go ahead, Vashi.
That was about all I had for it. It was a nice little scene, but overall the fights in the scene was short. I did enjoy Bloodstark just basically blocking the Rider kick. That was a nice touch.
Yeah.
Because it's that whole "what the fuck are you doing" kind of moment. And with the whole precious level, the hazard level, my brain did go back to Bokenger. Now I just want to hear somebody go, "My precious."
That would be interesting. Yeah, like, weirdly enough, the fucking, like, okay, I guess the construction guys are having one hell of a day because they're doing their job, and then they get attacked by Faust, and then they get saved by the government bots, and then they turn into Faust and attack them, and then Kamen Rider comes to save their day. But then they go, oh, it's that guy who's wanted, run away. I'm like, he literally just saved your lives. Like, not one of you is gonna thank him.
That was kind of asinine.
Like, I'm okay with, like, 4 of them running away, at least, like, one guy. You know?
Like I could be in the middle of getting attacked by, like, 12 people. If O.J. Simpson walked up to me with a bloody knife and helped me, I'm gonna thank him.
Yeah,
hey, thanks for not stabbing me!
Topical. Um, anything else?
Yeah, so Decade, on your theory, what I think happened was, why would the Fost bots be like randomly attacking these workers, other than like potential victims? It seemed like Bloodstark was trying to lure Build out, and then the normal Guardians just came and saved them, and so he had to kind of like improvise there. Just what I believe to be like a neat little detail. I mean, too often do you see things go well for the villains. It's nice to see like that they have to work around something they didn't count for once in a while. And then we get the... Oh, go on. Oh, well... And then we get, so Tatsuya follows Sento and Sawa back to the cafe where he meets Banjo and realizes, wait, aren't you that escaped murderer? And then, you know, Banjo gives him his story like, no, I was framed, all I did was see the body. And then this causes Tatsuya to freak out weirdly enough and take off. Something to do with Sento, but it's not explained very well. And it's weird because all they're doing is giving us answers right now, and now they're trying to create another mystery that we're probably going to get the answer to next episode.
At least they're trying. Yeah, I mean, that was, I guess, a nice... I mean, it was a nice change of pace, because we did just blow through a shit ton of plot in the first third of that episode. So it was nice to see some sort of suspense. But yeah, oh yeah, and then it was funny when Tatsuya just runs off, and then Banjo's like, "Don't snitch on me," and he pokes his head out the door, and they're just like people passing by, and he scares the shit out of them. That was fun.
Right, it's like that was like my favorite part of the scene, that and the fact that he headbutted Tatsuya twice. Like this has been my issue with this series. Like, for me, it's been a little hard to get into because it's the whole new show issue of, well, how much information do you give out per episode? How much do you keep a mystery in the whole 9 yards to keep it enjoyable and watchable and entertainable and understandable, versus we can't understand half of what's going on because there's too much that they've hidden as a mystery, or, oh, well, we've given away too much, there's no point to watch it. And this one, I think, has been struggling just a little bit with finding the right pacing, or the right middle ground for that. Because some of them seem to be really, really expositional heavy. Like, this one was rather expositional heavy in the beginning, with trying to explain the plot and all that of, you know, we're 5 episodes in and we're already about to be 6 episodes in, and we're already getting the explanation of what happened to the main character. I would have been fine if that was like episode 15 or 20, you know, further down the road. So I think my issue with this series is the pacing for it is a little wonky. And with it jumping back and forth between the, you know, very serious, here's what's going on, to the more slapstick stuff, like with Banjo and Tatsuya in the cafe, it breaks the episode too hard for me. It's good. It drops me out of the episode when it does it, as often as this series has so far.
Okay. I mean, I had that feeling last episode. This episode, I think I was okay with it, because, like, this episode finally feels like a Rider episode. It's not a great Rider episode. It's just a generic, hey, this is how you set up part 1 of a 2-part episode. But, like, hey, at least we have all the elements now. At least we finally got a real Rider fight. I mean, it wasn't great, but whatever. At least we have all the elements this episode. But yeah, like, the show's had this weird thing of, like, exposition central. Like, okay, they clearly have multiple arcs planned, at least 2. That's why we're like, Right, throwing shit in here. Plus, they're trying to set up the secondary writer so much, so like, yeah, it's also been a little more exposition. But I think the show has this one problem of not like it builds up good questions, but like then it just delivers them with like barely any like. I mean, you get answers, but they don't feel like payoffs. That's the problem. Like it's like holy shit. Okay, I wish this was dragged out a little more. So when we were revealed, we had time to full settle in and like, you know, like have the characters have time to like reflect on what question just got answered. In here, it's more like, oh, you had that question like 2 episodes ago. It's fine. We're gonna answer it this episode, and we're just gonna keep going like nothing happened. And it's like, what the fuck? So like yeah, the show's a little wonky. I mean, like it's starting to even out now because it's slowing down. So maybe it's getting better. Like especially once we get the secondary writer, maybe we'll finally have time to like fully slow down stuff. And I don't think it's gonna take that long for Claus to show up. So you know, it shouldn't take long. I mean, like this episode was starting to act like a normal writer show, so that was good. I mean, plus like the directing helps this episode because like okay, whoever decided like to make the reporter lady act the way she did, like good job director. Also good job sound guys for using the damn bottle sound effects for her movements because that was genius. So like yeah, I mean it's getting better, but I think yeah the problem is like it doesn't have payoff because like X8 had like okay, it's got setup and then wait and boom, like amazing delivery. And like Build has good setup. It then answers stuff like at a weird time because you're like, wait, what? Why are we like answering this now? This needs like a full episode for this kind of thing. And then we just like blow past it, so like there's no like payoff or not enough payoff. I think that's the problem. Um, that's all I got.
I will say this. One thing I didn't like about Agito was that in the first half of the series, it builds up this plot point about a ferry boat and like what happened on the boat, what was it, and then it really like builds up to the reveal, but then the reveal is nothing. It really didn't live up to like the whole mystery aspect of it. At least Build isn't doing that. It's not dragging us along to not get a good answer.
Yeah, so like I never had the Agito problem of like super heavy of oh no, what's this Akatsuki mystery? Yeah, I had it a little bit, like but a lot of people seem to really be like, oh, this like explanation is a letdown. But like the whole point of Agito is it doesn't matter the hell happens. It's what you choose to do that's important. So like yeah, the whole thing of the incident, it's like it's weird because we wouldn't tell writer stories like that anymore because like now it would be the Akatsuki happened and 6 months later and then the show starts, you know. So like there would be no build up to that. It'd just be a mystery continuously because we don't tell Agito style stories anymore. But like I think it's just a personal thing. Yeah, I think they dragged it out for way too long. Like if they revealed it like maybe midway through, it would have been good. But I think the other problem is like Agito had a lot of interesting ideas and how to handle them. It's just like the last third. It's like it's a little spaced out. So like nothing really feels that great. Like it's kind of the early Blade problem of like, why are we fighting? I don't know. Like they're attacking, sure. Does this fight mean anything? Not really, because like nowadays we would at least get like a new, you know, power up out of it. But like early Blade doesn't have anything.
That's where you're wrong. Early Blade, like every monster they seal, is a new power up for them. And so you see, like, no, Blade build up his own rider kick.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But, like, they don't have, like, a story arc. Okay, it's sort of like the first 4 episodes of Build where he just shows up and fights a monster. Like it doesn't really matter what the monster was doing. It doesn't have a story arc behind it. And the thing is, like, 4 episodes of Build are annoying enough, but like 15 episodes of fucking Blade are just like, okay, we're doing the Rider thing. Why? Like, there's no story arc behind the monster. Um, it's more annoying if the whole show was like that, but it's not, because like later on we get like super good story arcs concerning like each of the higher level ones that show up. Go ahead, Vashi.
I was gonna equate it to, so we've been talking about it on the Q Ranger podcast, the final reveal of Don Armage. It's that level of that mystery's gone on for so long now that it's either the payoff is gonna be really great or it's gonna be really shitty. So like I get them shortening it down to where it feels better as a payoff, instead of keeping it drawn out and having it go, oh well, that didn't turn out how I planned or how we thought it would, because it was very underwhelming.
Yes, my personal theory is, sorry, let me just say, my personal theory is he's the cousin of Don Horror. Okay, you guys haven't seen Gavan, so that joke doesn't make as much sense, but Gavan fights Space Mafia, and like his bad guy is called Don Horror. Or actually, is that the third Metal Heroes one? I don't remember. In the rebooted movies, they're trying to bring it back.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they referenced that stuff in the reboot movies.
Yeah. So I don't know if, because the thing is, the reboot movies kind of mix the first 3 space sheriffs. So like I don't know if he no, I think Don Horror is the villain of the first space sheriff, but like the weird dimensional shifting thing is the third space sheriff's villains thing. Because like what happens is, like, original Gavan is like they fight and then they go to like a different dimension and they finishes the fight there, but like I think the third one they can like switch dimensions on the fly, because Super Sentai happened and Metal Heroes came out afterwards, and generally what happens is when a monster becomes bigger or something, it's at least 3 times stronger. So instead of actually making giant monsters in Gavan, what they're like, okay, on Earth they're like 1/3 weaker, so they like can teleport to their own dimension and become like fully powered, but they don't like change size or anything. Yeah, Gavan's interesting. You guys were saying something?
I made my point.
So we have a new purified bottle. This one is comic. Like, Sento gets real excited to try and figure out what it pairs with, and again, Banjo just picks one up and tries it, and it works. This time it was ninja, which I had a feeling that's what it was going to be, but when Sento was thinking about his pirate one, it's like, now I want to see what the pirate one is.
Does he actually have a pirate bottle?
Yeah, he picks up pirate, and he's like, because he's trying to figure out, like, okay, what would be compatible with comic? Maybe pirate, and he picks one up. It's like, I want to see what that one is.
It's fine, he has to get the rocket bottle to pair it with this pirate. Alright, whatever. Terrible jokes aside, let's keep going. Alright, unless Vashi, you were saying, brother.
No, I got nothing yet until the actual use of that one.
Right. Tatsuya gets kidnapped by, I think it was Bloodstark, to be turned into a Smash, who they let loose on the Institute. This puts Sento in a kind of a tough position because he's wanted by them, so can he like just go out and fight? He goes to at least watch because at this point he doesn't know who the Smash is. And then Banjo asks Mizora a question. What if after they defeat the Smash they didn't collect its components? Mizora proposes that if it's still alive, maybe it'll just go back to the hideout. So Sento goes, and the Guardians are like all ganging up on Tatsuya. And then Bloodstark shows up and just starts teasing him, like, yeah, that's your friend that I turned into a smash. Gets his anger going, and so he fights him again. And this time his Rider Kick actually, like, hurts him a little bit. And Bloodstark becomes interested, like, oh, so anger makes your hazard level go up. Okay. I'm done with you now. You can go save your friend if you want. So he goes in. It's kind of interesting how he goes in here, because he doesn't try to, like, justify anything. He just jumps in and just starts protecting him from the Guardians.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I didn't like about this episode. It's a little too easy. Because I'm like, alright, technically the Rider suit should be strong enough so the Guardians aren't doing that much damage, but they should be doing some damage. And like Tetsuya should still be hit, and then like fucking Ryuga shows up with his gun, and I'm like, okay, we've just turned into, okay, the heroes win now. Because I say so. Like, man, the writing kind of took a nosedive after this point. But one more thing. Man, we haven't talked about her character this episode, but like, what did you guys think of the reporter character?
Sawa.
Shit, I keep forgetting. Sawa, yeah, because like she doesn't appear after this point, so I'm like, yeah, might as well talk about her now. Like she was actually pretty good, like doing like, you know, actual research and like reporter stuff of finding people and looking them up. Hey, Drago. Okay.
She's been a helpful character, and I did like her enthusiasm when Build was fighting and she was like taking victory pictures of him.
Yeah. I also like that, like, this is what Reiko would have been like if, you know, well, not that
I was thinking that too, like, this is Reiko if she knew what was going on all along. If she was just there taking pictures of all the rider shit.
See, here's the thing, yeah, if they're allowed to help. Like, I don't think she would be going that fangirl with the photos, but everything else is like what she would do, which is awesome. Vashi, Drago, Decade, what did you guys think of Sawa this episode?
I didn't have a whole lot of thoughts, but yeah, it's nice that she continues to be resourceful while the writers are kind of just blowing through backstory and fighting and stuff, so that's nice, I guess. Misora, yeah, I'm glad we went an episode without the whole Me-Town thing, as fun as that is, but it's nice to see her doing something other than that, or purifying bottles. You know, she was just kind of chilling around in the cafe because she can't leave. So
yeah, she imposed her face on the internet.
Okay, like technically
they can't track, I guess.
Yeah.
She's in disguise.
No, she's not.
Like, even if, well, the thing is, even if they know her face, they don't know where she.
She's in disguise the way Ninja was ever in disguise.
No, I mean,
we
like, even if they know, like,
we
oh,
do not
she looks
hide.
like that person, because like that would explain why Bloodstark knew to go on her blog. So like they know what she looks like, but they don't know where she's hiding. You know. Like, that's the whole reason why they can keep using their cell phones and all this other crap, because, like, they can't be traced. Because otherwise, they'll be like, alright, just turn on the GPS on the phone and track these idiots. Like, the writers do it in the first episode, but, like, Faust can't. So, I'm like, at least we got an explanation. It also explains why she, like, does the internet idle thing, because, like, sitting around doing nothing all day would be super boring. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I like the fact that there's more backstory, like, you know, story revealed about Misora, like about her being kidnapped. I don't buy that, but the entire story from Soichi is very shady.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty. It sounds very rehearsed. So I'm pretty sure either they're Martians. I mean, like she could have been experimented, but it's more likely there's something more. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I really like the fact that she was also in the intro of in the episode, which was pretty good. As far as intros is concerned, I think Build has the best intro in all of Rider. Not the song, I mean like, you know,
Oh, the exposition.
yeah,
Okay.
exposition.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Or
That's-
arguing, or arguing as it's known everywhere else. That is just great. I love the banter at the beginning of the episodes.
I know. Like when Mizora came in, I'm like, did you just like the recording studio door open at this point? Like everybody just crashes in. It's great. I love the feel of it because like it gives them character without actually having time to give them like side stories and stuff, which it's fine. Oh, shit. Drago, do you want to do your thoughts now or later? Because we're halfway through the episode. I think it's just
Actually, we're like almost done.
okay. I guess we'll go to the end and then you can give your thoughts after we're done.
So while Build is trying to protect the Smash Tatsuya, Banjo shows up to help him by diverting the attention of the Guardians, since he's a wanted criminal. And Gentoku, overseeing everything, actually points out like, "Hey, capture him alive." Build brings Tatsuya somewhere else where he can finish him off with the new ninja comic best match. So we get to see a little bit of that. And then Banjo shows up alone, knocks Bill Sento out, and then takes the collected component and releases it back onto Tatsuya so that he can follow him back home. And that's how the episode ends. I had a kind of feeling that he wanted to do something like this, but it kind of caught me off guard that it happened here. Although it makes perfect sense for his character. I mean, if they can expose Faust and find out what really happened, then they can prove he didn't kill that guy.
Yep, Tatsuya's not getting any breaks. Yeah, thinking back on it, it was pretty interesting that Gentoku wanted to capture Build alive this time because...
Not Build, Banjo.
Oh, he wanted Banjo. Okay, never
Yeah.
mind then. Oh, well, I mean, that is still interesting because in the first episode, he was like, kill him. I don't need broken toys, just send my rocket launching guardians after him. But now that he's probably chilled a bit because I'm pretty sure he was under the effects of the Pandora's box light at that time when he snapped. He's probably like, okay, we should probably capture Banjo Ryuga. So yeah, that was an interesting contrast. In terms of the form, oh, go ahead.
I mean, it could be just because Banjo might know where Build's hideout is. So like they might not be able to kill Build, but like if they kill his friend, well, they can't get any information out of him.
Yeah, maybe he's thinking, man, I really wish I had that second panel. Thanks for reminding me, Sento. So yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, in terms of the form, I really freaking like it. The CGI was decent. I mean, definitely more fun than some of the other CGI we've been getting, but yeah, the form looks nice. It's got some pretty neat gimmicks, and we haven't seen all of them. So yeah, looking forward to seeing more of that.
Yeah, this part was actually pretty fun to watch because now we is getting according to Ryuga's character, but it was like one step forward for him and two step back after episode 3 with how his character is. And then I think that this is the next arc is gonna be like his rider arc as far as the series goes. Also, also that well, this one. Sorry, I'm getting cut off.
Like, I enjoyed the hell out of this entire setup. It opens the doors for so many things. I liked the new form and the fact that it did ninja better than Ninja did, and that was an entire series revolving around ninjas, and it was terrible. So I did like the fact that it worked a lot better for this series, even though it was slightly awkward a little bit to see. It seems just so out of place, but still fit in with the way this series has gone. I'm worried about the overload of gimmicks with this series.
Well, this at least this CGI today's episode, this episode 5 had fun rider stuff in it that compared to last 4 episodes.
Yeah, I finally felt like a Rider episode, like a generic Rider episode. Rider episode. Okay, I guess I'll go in reverse order. Form. I like it. Nice colors, cool effect. I mean, it's not. Yeah, I don't like the poofing effect, but the running and stuff is great. I'm like, oh man, this is like the effect that Drive needed like fucking 3 years ago for its like weird multiply shuriken thing. But whatever. Yeah, it's actually kind of really fun and well done. So I was happy with that. As for like all the shit that Ryuga pulled, like, okay, I saw that he might do something like this. I wasn't expecting it this episode, but then like that's this whole show is like, oh, shit happens, and I'm like, nobody's expecting it to happen so fast, but it is. Also, classic Toshiki Inoue, punch to the stomach, turn off. Main Rider gets punched to the stomach and peels over. Like, oh my god. I'm like, what? Did like Inoue write like the second, like the last third of this episode? But because that's pretty much exactly what he would have done. It's great. Like I like his writing. Some people think it's like cliche and shit, but like his stuff is fun. But I mean, like, he definitely didn't write this, but it was still a good show of things to do. Like, it's also the thing of like standard escalation because like he's a secondary writer. At some point, every secondary writer kind of betrays the main writer, and like the main writer then either has to like teach them a lesson or like forgive them or something, and they become like better for it. So, like, it's a standard trope. Like, I wasn't fucking expecting it to happen in episode 5, though. Yeah, as for, like, why they want to capture Ryuga now, it's like maybe they wanted information. That's the only thing I can think of. And... yeah, weirdly enough, Bill just, like, jumps in and, like, he doesn't even try to justify it or anything. I'm like... okay, that's fine because like Sento isn't exactly the talky type of writer, so I'm like, I can kind of buy that. But then like Ryuga just shows up on the bike and like guns down like 20 government guard robots, and I'm like, okay, that's way too easy. But I think that's all I had.
This was a good episode overall. I did enjoy it, even though like all the stuff with Tatsuya was really weird. And I do like what it sets up for next episode in terms of Banjo's character arc. That's really all I have to say. Anyone else have any things they want to say?
Okay. On Twitter, there's a user named by Sunglass Pre, who who had this theory that Sento's mind isn't like Sento isn't okay. The guy, the scientist that was killed. Basically, they put his mind in Sento's body. That's what, to make the best match. That's what the theory was, because the difference between the guy who plays the guitar and Sento is too big.
That's an interesting theory. I mean, like, I mean, that might explain the memory wipe and why the physicist side of him left, and like why in the next episode preview is like, give me back my body and stuff. But then again, like, it's a pretty clever theory, and Ryder tends to do Ryder shit and like throw out clever theories by the wayside of, oh look, it was a plot hole. So like, yeah, it sounds awesome. I'm not sure if they'll be able to pull it off, because this show, like, it writes interesting setups, but it gets lazy with its payoffs. So I don't know. Man, it would be super interesting if that was the setup, though. What do the rest of you guys think of it?
I like that theory a whole lot.
It makes sense. It from my issues is, it seems to be, despite the fact that we're getting the answer to, with what we've been given, it's too hard to call. Like, I really hope that that's the explanation, because it does make the most sense out of everything I've seen online.
Yeah, and it would explain why they're still railing on who the scientist guy was, instead of it just being, just some random murder that Banjo was framed for. He seems to have some role to play.
The big question that still needs to be answered is, why was that scientist murdered? It couldn't have been just a frame, Banjo. The idea of, like, oh, it was to put his brain in a different body. That's something.
Here's the thing, like, to set it up on one day, like, that's pretty extreme. See, this is the problem. Like, they could even say, oh, that's exactly what happened. Timing. Right? Because, like, okay, let's say scientist dies, Banjo gets framed, right? His body is still lying on the floor. The cops have to show up and arrest his ass. Right? Let's say they were Faust guys. Right? Then they had to set up that this new kid who just showed up for the one, fake test, is just happens to be the perfect body, and it's like, I mean, it could happen, but like, there's a lot of stuff that would have to line up. It would be really interesting, but like, I don't think this show's smart enough. Weirdly enough, like, it tends to throw a lot of CGI math around, but I don't think it's that smart. Or at least, like, it is smart, it's just like, it likes to be lazy. So I don't think it's gonna be something that interesting. Like, it could be, but I don't, like, because we could have had like the whole thing of like, Professor Gilmore here, but we didn't. So like, I don't know, because it's like everything right now is still setting up for like a larger arc. And if it's just like, okay, episode 6, right, scientist that died, his brain is now the new Kamen Rider. It's like, really? On the 6th episode? It's too early. I don't know. It'd be super cool if it was true, but I don't think so.
You're right in that this show has been rushing its exposition. So something like that would come off as like, yeah, he feels a bit too soon for that reveal. Where are you planning on going from here? I think that's all for tonight.
Yeah, I mean, unless Drago, you wanted to talk about the rest of the episode, and then we'll.
No, I'm good.
All right.
No. Okay.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
See you guys next time. Well, everybody else will. I to cut out the podcast for Ryder for the foreseeable future, but I will be back.
But are you still doing Sentai?
Yes, I'm still doing Sentai. But with everything that I've got to do for my own channel, along with everything else going on, with all the changes in my life, I have to take a step back from at least the Build podcast.
Well, it's fine, man. You do whatever you need to do. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight, and see you all next time.